All right, here is the Razer Strider Chroma, which I'm pretty excited about. Of all my Razer stuff, this is one of the ones I've been looking forward to the most. So this is a hybrid gaming mouse mat. So basically it's a large mouse mat and it has the Chroma ring around it, which is gonna look pretty cool on my desk. I've shown in other videos, my son has the Razer Huntsman keyboard and it has like a ring around it that shows all the lights, which I think is really cool. But I don't have that. I have the Black Widow and it doesn't have that light. And I have the Logitech mouse mat, which I liked, but obviously it doesn't fit with my Razer theme. All right, so what we have in the box, we got, of course, standard Razer paperwork, and then this big old, see how it comes in the box here, right? And then this kind of banded up with those little plastic wraps. Let's pull those right off. So it does have this little help to keep its shape. Let's get rid of that. I will say, it does have quite the odor to it.
Stink, bitch.
They go air out, but yeah, it's noticeable. Of course, now we have the little Razer clip on this side, and then the USB-A cable right to plug in. So let me go ahead and I'll just plug it right in. We'll have to update Synapse probably. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. There's a little lip there, but I guess that'll straighten itself out. And I will say, no one's gonna love this. I don't really care about gaming on this. I do game, but I use a controller. So for those of you that are obviously using this for gaming purposes, I really can't talk too much about that. I'm just gonna show you how cool it looks basically, right? But I do have the Basilisk V3 Pro, and we can see, how well it slides, and obviously a Logitech mouse, which is, no one's gaming on that, but you can see, I think it glides well. It doesn't feel like fabric, it feels like almost hard. There's an odor, I will say. I'm hoping that airs out. It's just cool looking, right? And so yeah, I've upgraded from the wired V3 Basilisk to the Pro, which is wireless, and I've upgraded from the Black Widow V3 to the Deathstalker V2 Pro, so it's wireless. And with both of those set up on here, it should look pretty cool, just be all lit up nice and cool like. So I'll show you that in just a moment. But first, let's just go through the regular Strider setup. I do have to update Synapse. Generally, when you plug in a new Razer device, Synapse needs to update to recognize it. So there we can see it in Chroma. And of course, it's only gonna have lighting. There's nothing else you can really change here. It does have the nice, you can click this little box, so when you turn your monitor off, it will turn all your lights off, which is a nice feature. Alienware in the past did not have that. Razer usually does have it, which is pretty cool. And so we have built-in quick effects audio meter. That's if you're listening to music. So the audio meter won't work unless you have music playing. I don't have any playing right now. Breathing, of course, that's pretty cool, where it just shows a color and then goes off. And you can, of course, make it 2 colors. So if we go green and then red, it'll flash green and then red. Of course, you may notice this, right? It's not flat right here. I'm hoping that will flatten itself out soon enough. All right, and now let's bump it up to reactive, which makes no sense because you can't push a button. Maybe if you have it all in a group, it will show, but obviously with just the mat itself, there is no reactiveness. Spectrum cycling, of course, we're just going through colors, which is nice. Let's go to static. Of course, we just got one color here, it's just green, and then we can turn it to, red, so you can really stand out there. And then we can do the wave, which I'm assuming will be really cool on this one. All right, of course, I have the lights on, so it's kind of hard to see, but let's start them over. Let's go to audio. Let me turn the lights out here. Hopefully you're not scared of the dark. All right, so if we go right off the top to breathing, we'll go green and then red. You can see it lighten up. Now it does seem brighter in certain areas than others. I don't know if that's because of the mat or because the way it's shining off my desk or the little lip there, but either way, it's still pretty cool in my book. And then of course, reactive is gonna do nothing. I don't know why that's there. Spectrum cycling, we do have that, which is nice. And of course, we can change the colors. It's looking pretty good. So it almost feels like it's brighter here. That's also where it's lit. So yeah, I think when it's flat, it's gonna look pretty straight. So yeah, those little spikes of color are just where it was kind of folded. So when it's perfectly flat, it looks pretty good. And I think after I set the keyboard and mouse on it and stuff, get used to using it on my desk, it should flatten itself out. And then from spectrum cycling, of course, we have static. That's gonna be red. And let's just change that from red to purplish. I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera as well. Let's do blue. All right, and then the last one, of course, will be wave. It's going all the way around. You can see it gets bright, like you can see it shining on my back wall there, that's not lights under the table. That's the only light on I have right now, is that one. So that's pretty cool. And then we can do the other way around, where it just turns the wave in another direction. And you see, that's just the quick effects. You can go into Chroma Studio and then change it up some more. I'm gonna get all my stuff set up, and we'll set it up in Chroma Studio, and then you can see how neat it looks when you rearrange everything. And you actually get more quick effects. You can also do the advanced effects, but if you do quick effects in Chroma Studio, you can have things that aren't shown here, like the fire is not an option, right? here, and neither is Ripple. But once I have everything set up, you'll see they will work with those in Chroma Studio. But it looks super cool. Just give me a minute and I'll get it all set up. So the first part of the video you watched was 2023, 2024, somewhere around there. And now we're following up. I said, give me just a minute to set this up. And now here we are in June 2025. So that meant it took a long time. And I have two things here, right? So we have on the bottom, the Razer Strider Chroma, and on top, the Razer Goliath Extended Chroma. So a couple things here. One, you can see how much bigger the Strider is than the Razer Goliath Extended Chroma. But the reason we've waited so long to make a follow-up here is because we did not like this guy, really, or this guy. They look great. When I had everything set up on the Strider, I had the Deathstalker keyboard, I had the wireless Basilisk mouse, I had my Razer desktop. The look of that setup was fantastic. However, let's talk about the Strider first. One, it stink has dissipated. You can see the dust because it's just been sitting up there. So I don't game on mouse and keyboard. I've explained this before. However, the boy does. He switched to mouse and keyboard. He uses the Azeron and done multiple mice, but a Razer mouse for the most part. But one thing that you can't tell from how good this looks is, it's firm, which is nice, and the mouse moves pretty good on it, I would say. I mean, as far as using it in office work, no problem. But there's a couple problems using this as a mouse pad for gaming and really office work. One, it's rough like sandpaper. So it's gonna tear your flesh off. My hands are made of stone, but the boys, and then you can explain it, but he uses a giant mouse pad because he flicks the mouse like a maniac when he plays games. So he didn't think there was enough space. He plays Fortnite.
Well, it depends the type of game you play, but the most shooter games require a lower sensitivity. So lower sensitivity means you're gonna have to move farther. And for this one, it's not enough vertical real estate. There is enough horizontal, but rubbing long-term feels horrible on your skin. So anything more than like 30 minutes of play, and this really doesn't feel great.
And that's for gaming. And then I was like, all right, that's fine. Because I just really wanted it because it looks cool. And again, my hand, basically the thing, granted, it still feels unpleasant. Plus it stunk. The stink has gone away. Now it's been over a year. I don't recall exactly when the stink went away, but even just now, this does not feel good. I don't like the feeling of this. So yeah, I think it got weird on the edges too if you went too far by accident.
If you go off to the side too far, either at the bottom or the side, you might get caught on the mouse feet, and it might be harder to get back on. So if you're in a fast-paced game and you get stuck down there for a second, you're gonna die or lose whatever you're playing.
And I mentioned he flings the mouse like a maniac, so I don't know if that will wear these down. I mean, you'd think Razer would have that handled, so it wouldn't. It does, again, I don't know, understand the logic. It moves smooth on here, but it feels horrendous on my hand. It's like the thing Colossus Juggernaut, all those combined into one, and it still feels unpleasant, but I love the look of it. So I then bought this one, which is the Goliath Extended Chroma. And it moves, I would say, even better, more slidey-er. I mean, it feels pretty good actually, but it also stank, and the lighting effect aren't as good. This is a higher quality lighting effect on the Strider as opposed to this guy. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, but there is you can see the webbing, like the knitting holding it in there, which is weird. On the Strider, it's just kind of like part of the device, whereas here it's like sewn in, so you see the strings over there. So it's kind of weird looking. Like from my vision here, this looks all jagged. I don't know if the camera's going to show that necessarily, but for gaming purposes, there's even less vertical real estate here. Right, like I use this Logitech desk mat. I'm pretty sure it's not much bigger than this guy. And this is not for gaming, of course, this is just office work. But I do use, my Razer setup for my office work every day. And as mentioned, Strider felt terrible. And the Goliath has little webbing on here, so if your arm is touching this part, you can feel it. And it feels like it get torn up. I don't know if it will. So I bought both of these, and we used pretty much neither of these. They both stank. Right out the box. They were very stinky. The stinkiness has dissipated, but I don't like how they feel. Even this doesn't feel as good as my normal mouse pad, and this feels horrible. So, buy them for the look, maybe the gaming force, but I don't think they feel good, and they look great, but I don't like them.
If you like the look and you play a slow-paced game, there's not much fast action going on, then you could try it out. Still really wouldn't recommend this bottom one, just because the texture is not good for even day-to-day use. But the top one it's been a long time since I used it, but in the short term right here, it doesn't feel too bad.
And then But another caveat with the Goliath, it has a lot less lighting effects because it's the lower quality light on the Goliath than the Strider. As you can tell, I got a lot of Razer stuff. Full Razer PC. I just got these light bars, which I think are super cool. Razer motherboard, Razer all-in-one cooler, Razer fans, Razer case, a full suite of Razer products I've shown videos on. I'm currently checking out this guy, the Kishi Ultra. The Razer controller was the Wolverine. That's my go-to controller, right? So I like Razer products and I don't like this. So I have a hard time recommending it. Looks great, but feels terrible, stinks. And at least for the boy on a mouse and keyboard, it wasn't great. And for me, just using it as an office worker, it wasn't great either. So, all right, that's it. Thanks.